People might say that it's vain, materialistic, or shallow to care about your external appearance, but I disagree. Looks matter. They directly correlate to the opportunities and circumstances that we attract. And that is why in today's video we are discussing scientific ways to be hotter and enhance our natural beauty. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Eva, and in this space we talk about how to level up and live our dream lives. We talk about things such as feminine energy, holistic wellness, and mindset. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and keep watching. As always, timestamps are down below and video chapters are as follows. So when I was younger and I would go out with my mom, anytime I saw somebody from school or any other place, I would literally hide behind her. I would wait, I'd ask for her to check if the coast was clear, and only then would I come out from hiding. Back in 2016, the popular styles were crisscross t-shirts and Kylie Jenner matte lip kits. And best believe I had both of those. But it wasn't necessarily because the style looked so good and I just had to have it. No, it was because everybody else was doing it, so I did it too. Looking back, like most teenagers, I think I was driven to these behaviors due to the desire to fit in, while still dealing with some social awkwardness, which can explain me hiding behind my mother well into my teenage years. I think another reason for this was because I was insecure about the way that I looked, so I didn't really want to be seen, and I just wasn't really sure about who I was anyways. In some ways, I think we all do this. As part of our social conditioning, we follow what others do. We buy trending, overpriced products not because we need or even want them, but because it's popular and that's what everybody else is doing. We also see this theme brought up in the Brandy Melville documentary and the impact that it had on teenage girls, where you would buy this stuff because everybody else was buying it. And no shade to Brandy, I have plenty of Brandy staples, but I'm using the Brandy Melville cultural phenomenon to illustrate the point that we do what other people do, sometimes regardless of our own personal preferences. The problem with constantly following the pack is that there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to beauty and attraction. It's easy to feel insecure about your appearance or parts of you that don't fit the mold when you have no understanding of yourself or your own natural beauty. So how can we feel more confident in our appearance and not feel the need to always follow the crowd? The biggest way I leveled up my appearance was by putting in more effort to look aesthetically appealing to me, and by learning about various theories and principles that would help me to enhance my natural beauty. It was then when I started to feel very seen, understood, and appreciative of myself. Rather than framing this through the lens of this is what's desirable and this is not, some of the principles that I was exploring gave the perspective of this is how you take your already beautiful, desirable, unique trait and fit it perfectly to your liking. So it was from a much more empowered perspective. And that's exactly what I want to discuss in this video. I want to discuss the ways that we can use these various guidelines and principles and theories to enhance and accentuate our natural beauty. So let's jump in. Keep in mind that the point of this video is not to tell you how to look. Rather, the main takeaway is that attraction is about knowing who you are and owning it. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and it varies across cultures and across time. So take this advice with a grain of salt, okay? They're guidelines, they're not hard rules. We're going to be talking about ways to accentuate the beauty of our bodies, of our face and of our skin, and of our personalities. So let's begin with the body. A huge part of attraction comes from our bodies and specifically how we dress ourselves. So if we want to increase our attractiveness, one way to do this is by having a very distinct style. And I actually love talking about this because I feel like it is just such a fun, creative outlet and a way to express ourselves while also tapping into our feminine energy. Because what is feminine energy all about? It's a deep inner knowing. It's being able to operate from this creative space. And that is the power and beauty of the feminine. We literally have the ability to create life, to bring life into this world. Feminine energy is also about playfulness, softness, and intuition. And what other way to be playful than to experiment with different outfits and be able to express yourself and your personality fully. So I love this one. It's so much fun for me to talk about. It's also very important that as you are defining your own distinct style, to forget about the labels of what is considered masculine and what is considered feminine. If you don't like dresses, then don't wear them because it's not going to put you in your feminine. You have to be doing things that resonate with you deeply, okay? Those are the things that are going to put you into your feminine energy. So my recommendation would be to go to Pinterest and look for things that genuinely excite you. So if I go to my Pinterest, I'm going to see lots of mini dresses, I'm going to see lots of maxi dresses, lots of floral prints and light colors. You know, I love pinks and lavenders and whites. I like things that evoke feelings of elegance and grace. So that's another thing. Not only can you look for specific types of clothing, like a skirt or a shirt, but also the types of feelings that they evoke. I think it's also important for us to note that our style might change as we grow a little bit and as we get older, and we should welcome and embrace that. So when I was in college, my style was a little bit different. It was much more casual, comfy. I would wear a lot more crop tops just because my lifestyle was a little bit different at the time. But now that I'm older, my style has changed a little bit, and I'm trying to gracefully accept that because I like the direction that it's going. I get to create the life and the look that I want to. So embrace the changes as they come. As you are looking for clothing and styles that excite you, here are a few guidelines that will be particularly useful. So color theory or color analysis is a great way to determine what colors of clothing or makeup are going to look best with your natural shades. So we're looking at your natural features such as your skin tone, eye color, and hair color to determine what palettes work best for you. The main goal is to identify a person's season or color palette, which is a wide range of colors that harmonize with their own unique coloring. So to begin, you figure out what your undertones are. People have warm, cool, or neutral undertones. And from there, your seasonal color palette is defined. Each season is going to correspond with a specific range of colors that complement a person's natural tones. So spring has warm and light colors with golden undertones, such as peach, coral, and soft greens. Summer has cool and muted colors with blue undertones, such as paisley blues, lavender, and soft pinks. Autumn has warm and earthy colors with golden or reddish undertones, such as mustard yellow, olive green, and rusty orange. Whereas the winter palette is cool and vivid colors with clear contrasts such as royal blue, emerald green, and true red. So one color on somebody might look beautiful, where they look like they're glowing and they're super radiant, whereas on another person, maybe it completely washes them out. So that's kind of the main idea of color analysis. But once again, by no means is this a hard and fast guide. If you love wearing super bright, vibrant colors, don't let the results of this stop you. If you like wearing monochromatic fits, or you only wear black, or maybe you like more muted colors like soft pinks and purples, still follow that, but it is nice to sometimes have a general framework to see what generally works well with your tones. If you're interested in learning more about this, I would recommend going on YouTube to search color analysis or, self-assessment. There are also services that you can get where professionals will do a full color analysis for you. I've personally never done one of these services, so my knowledge base is limited, but that is the general premise, and there's a lot more information out there to find if you're interested. Next up is understanding our body type. And once we understand our body type, it's easier to know what styles and shapes work best for us. So I've used the Kibbe body type test to determine my own body type, and it's based on factors such as if we have softer or more angular features. Things like narrow hips or wide hips, narrow shoulders or wide shoulders, tall or short stature. Those are some of the things that they look at. From the assessment, you fill out this whole questionnaire, then you're able to determine if you have more yin traits or more yang traits. So yin traits are soft, they're a little bit rounder and more delicate, whereas the yang is more angular. It's sharp and it's bold. Once you have determined if you're more yang dominant, yin dominant, or a mix of them both, you're categorized into one of the 13 body types that falls into 5 main categories. And this is the part where it gets really fun because you get to figure out what cuts and fabrics and just styles overall work best with your natural lines and essence. A great example of this is when we think about jeans, right? We have high-waisted jeans and low-waisted jeans. We have skinny jeans, flared, straight-legged. Everybody can wear whatever types of jeans that they want, but we can see from comparisons that sometimes there are more flattering jeans that look good on one body type versus another. Something else that I love about the Kibbe body type test is that, again, it's not framed through the lens of, this is better than the other. It's none of that, right? They're all distinct and special in their own ways, and so how can we lean into that and make that even better? Okay, next up we are talking about our skin, which is another topic that I'm very excited to talk to you guys about. So the skin is the largest organ in our body, and it's very important that we are healthy from the inside out, because that is how we're going to have the best skin, the most glowy, clear, radiant skin. And I know that nobody wants to hear this. I know that nobody wants to be told to eat healthy or whatever, but I have to say it because it is so foundational if we want to have clear, beautiful, glowing skin. Skincare and morning and nighttime routines are only one part of it. If you're not eating well, you're not going to be seeing the results that you want. On days when I give myself a little cheat code and I go to Taco Bell, which is like one of my favorite fast food restaurants, I can see the difference in my skin by the evening time. I have naturally very oily skin, and so by the evening, it's showing up on my forehead from all of the grease and the oil that I've eaten. Whereas if I'm eating much better, I'm eating clean, whole, organic foods, my skin looks very, very different in the evening with much less oil production. Of course, water goes without saying. If you're not drinking enough water, start drinking more water, that's a given. But there's also a lot of specific foods that we can eat that are really going to help the glow and health of our skin. So eggs, legumes, soybeans, and nuts are all fabulous because they contain biotin. So if you take any sort of supplement, I take a hair, skin, and nails gummies supplement, the main active ingredient in that is biotin. It helps our nails and hair from being brittle, and it also protects our skin. Additionally, if you eat meat, salmon is a great food that helps improve our skin's elasticity. Pomegranates and green tea are great because it thickens the skin's epidermis, which is essentially a protective layer. And green tea and tomatoes are also wonderful because they help to protect against sunburn. On top of the foods that we eat, supplements or topical treatments can also go a long, long way for our skin. So there's two supplements that are really, really great for our skin. Number one is vitamin A. Vitamin A is better used as a topical treatment compared to a supplement, and it's also better that we use this at night, because if we put on our vitamin A topical treatment in the morning and then we go out, UV light destroys it. So it's going to be, you're not really going to get as much out of it compared to if you were to put this on at night and then you'd have a full 8 hours to sleep and let the vitamin A do all of its magic. So vitamin A's are retinols or retin A's. Those are a lot of common names that you will hear them fall under. And there are so many benefits. So number one, it decreases acne. When I was in high school, I had a lot of acne, and so I was prescribed a retinol cream that I would apply topically, and it would get rid of all my pimples. On top of that, it also decreases our pore size, it increases collagen production, that helps with the elasticity of our skin, it lessens dark pigmentation, and it repairs sun damage. Like it does so much for our skin, so vitamin A is highly recommended. Vitamin C is another great supplement or topical treatment to use because it stimulates collagen production and elastin that helps support our skin. This is another one that would be more beneficial to use at nighttime, because if you were to put it on during the day, the UV light would destroy it and it wouldn't be as powerful. Other miscellaneous ways that we can care for our skin. Number one, sweat. Get active, exercise, move your body, because when we sweat, we release toxins and from our skin. That way we can reveal the glowy, dewy, radiant layer underneath. Also, getting enough sleep is super important because that's when our body is doing a lot of healing work. If you're enjoying this video so far, I would love if you could give it a like and subscribe to my channel so I can keep making more videos like this. Okay, so next up I want to talk about makeup. And makeup has always been interesting for me because I felt like I was never really that good at doing it, and whenever I would put it on my face, it would just feel really heavy and like, I don't know, I just never really got into my rhythm with it. Until I found this sort of facial assessment, kind of similar to the Kibbe body test, but this is specifically evaluating your facial features in the yin and yang that's within that. And what I learned from that assessment is that I'm considered a natural, and naturals oftentimes do look a little heavy or strange when they wear too much makeup. And so the recommendations that this video provided was along the lines of more light makeup, which is what I tend to do more of now. And just having that understanding of my features and how that applies to different products has been so useful, because I feel more confident in my appearance and how I'm able to do my makeup now. Although if anybody has any tips, please let me know in the comments. So I will link the name of that test, or at least a video that I can find find in the description below. Okay, next up I want to talk about scent. I know this isn't completely related to the face or skin, but it's like from here up, so this is the place I decided to talk about it. Okay, scent is so fun. I love that it has the power to transport us back to places or evoke certain memories, and so we can use this to our advantage and to play up our attraction or even seduction. I like to play around with different scents and almost tap into different personas. So, before I film a video, for example, I spray the same perfume every time. That makes me feel really powerful and bold. That way I can, talk about these things and feel really confident and sure about that. It kind of just gives me this extra boost of confidence and helps me feel prepped and ready so I can sit and talk to this camera. So use scent to your advantage. Maybe have it tie into your personal style. Maybe you want a scent that's more floral, a little more musky, but just, use it, play around with it, have fun. On a very similar vein, I want to really briefly talk about hair theory because I think hair is so powerful. We can look so dramatically different, and that's the fun in it. I've talked in other videos about how humans appreciate novelty and new experiences, and so, I feel like I look like a completely different person when I straighten my hair, but I'm able to tap into a different side of myself and feel more confident in that. So I would say every now and then just switch it up. If you normally wear your hair down, wear it up once and see how you feel about things. See if people treat you any differently, or if the way that you are moving through the world is impacted differently. Because, it seems really small, but it can absolutely have an impact. People who work in restaurants have done these own little self-experiments where they wear their hair in different styles and see which one gets them the most tips. For female waitresses, when they did their hair in pigtails, or more like youthful styles, that kind of seems to get them more tips. So, do what you want with that information, take it with a grain of salt, but the key takeaway that I want you to get is to play around with different hairstyles because it's fun. Now I want us to talk about our personalities. To start, when it comes to attraction, I think it's really fun to talk about archetypes. So there are feminine archetypes and there are also seduction archetypes. Robert Greene wrote a whole book about these different seductive archetypes. So some people are just naturally nurturing. They have a talent for that, and people are attracted, people are drawn to them because of that. Other people are really good at understanding how to lead and how to command a room. I've said this in my other videos and I will say it again. God gives us natural gifts. It is our responsibility to figure out what those gifts are and then use them for good. So feminine archetypes can be a fun way to lean into certain aspects of our personality, and I recommend researching them on your own, but I'll also be dropping a video next week about the 7 different archetypes, so feel free to also watch that next week. Or if you're watching this after the fact, then I will link it above. And finally, I want to talk about the importance of having hobbies. Because yes, looks are important, yes, looks matter, and they do correlate to our opportunities and experiences, but they are not everything because they will not always last. So it is still very important that we are interesting people, we are kind, we're taking care of ourselves, etc. If you watched my video on how hobbies make you hot, you will know that I talk about this and how being hot is as much physical as it is a mindset, and it's a mentality of confidence. So if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend it, but the key takeaways are that it's important for us to have hobbies that help us lean into our strengths and just develop a fun and interesting personality. So have a hobby for your mind, things like reading, writing, making videos, whatever. Have a hobby for your body, so something that involves movement, and have a spiritual hobby like reflecting, meditating, praying, etc. The video that I made about it goes a lot more in depth, so I recommend it. When we understand that our differences are precisely the things that make us beautiful, we give ourselves permission to live as our authentic selves and gain confidence by doing so. We don't have to act like anybody we're not or put up some sort of facade. Not only is it going to boost our authenticity and our self-esteem, but it's also going to impact how we engage with the world around us. When we feel better about ourselves, we naturally project more confidence and positivity, which in turn attracts more opportunities and positive circumstances into our lives. This kind of all comes back to vibrational frequencies, right? So when we are experiencing a lot of feelings of love, abundance, and joy, the universe has no other option but to give us more of that because we're an energetic match for those sorts of feelings. It's a powerful cycle. So when we invest in understanding and loving ourselves, the more the world responds to that. Remember here that the goal isn't to conform to any sort of external beauty standard, because it varies anyways, so there's no point in that. There's no point in being anybody other than yourself, but instead to highlight and celebrate the things that make you unique. By using these scientific and holistic approaches, you're not just changing the way you look, you're actually transforming how you feel and how you interact with the world around you. Thank you so much for watching this video if you've made it this far. I so appreciate your support, and I would love if you could subscribe to my channel and like this video. In the comments, please tell me where you're from. I want to learn more about you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.